The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
So we all just saw Black Panther, and tonight's World-Class Bullshitters episode is going to be split into a review for Black Panther, as well as a few fan things we have to cover. So, normally we go into spoilers, which we're going to do, so we'll give you the quick spoiler-free review. I thought it was a fine movie. It fits in with the rest of the MCU. It's not this civil rights movement that people want to make it out to be. Dion, what'd you think? Real quick on a scale of 1 to 10 without giving away spoilers.
I give it a 7. It was a solid 7. I had a good time watching it. It was a good movie. Like you said, it fits in real well. Not too many issues, but it definitely isn't this goddamn savior movie where it's like, oh man, we should all rejoice and hug each other and black people, black power, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that shit was going on at my theater. Nick, what'd you think of this on a scale of 1 to 10?
I feel blacker because of it.
Good.
No, it was good. I had a good time. It was fun. I mean, you know, I give it probably like a 7.5. Like it was quite fun. But then again, it's just like this is filler until like Infinity Wars. So I was just like, but I mean, I'm glad I knew more about the character. I was really curious about Black Panther because I know nothing about him. So it really filled in. For me, anyways, what I think I needed to know.
Kendo?
I'm also with those guys. I'm on the 7.5 train. It was not the greatest Marvel movie. It wasn't even in the top 5, but it's far from the worst. And it was a decent movie, despite its flaws.
Yeah, I'll give it a 7.5 as well. So what's our average? A 7.325 or some shit like that for World Class Bullshitters?
7.235.
So, yeah, it's a good movie. It's definitely not this Black Messiah film that the media is trying to make it out to be. And the listeners, if you see any reviews out there that say it's Marvel's first masterpiece, no, look, it's a fine film. It's very competent. It's very well acted. It's fun. It's not as funny as other Marvel movies. It doesn't have the same level of spectacle, but that's okay. It was still visually striking. If you go to see Black Panther and you're a fan of the MCU already, you're gonna have a good time. But this
definitely.
This was the first time they're starting to show that weird agenda card, because no other Marvel movie's been like this in certain points. And we'll get into that in the spoilers section, so if you can handle that, keep listening. But do you have anything else you guys would like to say for the spoiler part of this show? Or the spoiler-free part of this show?
It was good. There were definitely some heavy-handed parts. It definitely wasn't... It's a lot of heavy-handed shit going on for sure, and then a lot of like elongated parts that didn't have to happen. Like that, this is the worst. This is the worst one in terms of like doing parts of the movie that we would have been fine without seeing. Like it didn't help or enhance the story at all.
I agree 100%, and I do want to say this in the spoiler-free section: the CGI in that shitty car scene looked slightly better.
It did. We said that when we first started. We're like, it looks way better than the trailer. The trailer was dog shit.
But the CGI in the beginning scene looked like shit, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did any of you guys watch it in 3D, or was I the only one?
You were the only one, as far as I know.
I ain't all right. For that shit. What's wrong with you?
Okay. Yeah. Well, no. That was the only show. That's the only showing that was like, you know, at 7 o'clock. I was like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'll pay the money. It's fine. Need to watch it for the review anyways. Yeah, the beginning CG to me was just like, they really fucked up. Like the car one, yeah, did look better, but then that beginning one is like, oh, you didn't spend any time on that one. Shit.
Yeah, it's funny how like these Marvel movies are spectacles, but there are corners cut in each one. And you could definitely tell the only times they don't cut corners are in the Avengers movies.
Yeah.
For as much as Dion and I love to praise Civil War and Winter Soldier, there are special effects shots that are pretty bad, but they're not as bad as they are. Like, the Avengers has better effects than all the singular ones, even though it's a 6-year-old movie at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
Because Captain America movies have that weird slowdown with the CGI. Like, I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but if you watch the scenes where, like, Iron Man, or Robert Downey Jr. pulls on, like, the Iron Man glove, and, like, there's just like weird, like it's like slower. I don't know how to describe it. The frame rate changes, and it's whenever there's like a computer effect, and it looks kind of weird. And this one didn't have that, but it was some lower, especially the scenes where his mask was to come off. You could tell that it was like CGI'd on, and the rest of the body looked different from it.
So, yeah. It was weird, man. It was very odd.
So I will say, well, Kendo cut out for a second, so let's keep talking about it spoiler free for a moment. The music was fine. I didn't like when they incorporated the hip hop into it.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was okay with that, but it was like none of the music was overbearing, like in like Suicide Squad or anything like that. Like it was, I think it was timed out really well, and they had a good mix of a lot of stuff. And I kind of enjoyed the soundtrack a little bit, so I was okay with it.
I want to say that I hate Michael B. Jordan, but not in this movie because
He was.
it happened. Dion, it happened. It finally happened.
Pay attention. You heard it here first. His hatred for Michael B. Jordan was somewhat satiated by this film.
Well, I want to tell the listeners why, but not until the spoiler section.
Yeah.
One thing that's nice though is they continue Black Panther's compassionate streak that they had from Civil War.
Yes.
With Baron Zemo, you know, you won't die today, or you have to answer to whatever the line was said in that film.
Yeah, tired of seeing my friend people destroy each other or something.
Yeah, that thread continued on into this movie, which was nice. Like, I'll give Chadwick Boseman credit. I think he gave the best performance in this movie, and I think he is the best possible choice for Black Panther. Like, currently, I like him. I like the way he moves. I like the accent. He's a great choice. I'm not saying he's Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Evans great, but he's definitely a better casting choice than like Mark Ruffalo or Benedict Cumberbatch or any of those people that I still consider good choices. I would, you know, I can picture other people playing the Hulk, namely Edward Norton, or I can picture other people playing Doctor Strange, but at this point in time, Chadwick Boseman's like the perfect choice for Black Panther, in my opinion.
For sure. No, I agree. He's arguably I'd say arguably the best choice for the characters. I mean, obviously Robert Downey Jr. As far as like best choice from the onset, you know, RDJ is great. You know, Chris Hemsworth is great. Yeah, he's up there. I'd say he's one of the best for the entire franchise.
Yeah, I mean, what are there going to be any more Black Panther movies, or is this it? Are they going to do another one after? I mean, at some point, or is like this is it, and then they're going to just go into Infinity Wars?
This is before Infinity War, so this is it. But they haven't mentioned it for Phase 5. They haven't mentioned any Black Panther movies for Phase 5 or anything.
I kind of hope they don't make another Black Panther movie, not because I don't think the movie's good and deserves a sequel. It kind of does everything it needs to do, because the next Black Panther movie would only be like a social cause movie.
Yeah, you're right.
The only reason I would say that they need to do it is because, again, this is going back to the previous episode where I was like, they should have waited. You know, Phase 5 so far is what? Captain Marvel. They burn their sticks with Inhumans putting it on TV, and now that fucking Black Panther is post Infinity War or pre Infinity War, all you have is a shitty costume for Captain Marvel. That's a problem, and I hope they do it just to continue. Obviously, they'll do it real close together. You know, maybe 1 or 2 movies a year post Infinity War. But yeah, you know, that's why I hope they do a sequel, because if Captain Marvel's the only thing you got coming after Infinity War, we are fucked.
Yeah, I have no interest in her as a character. I've read plenty of Avengers Initiative books with Carol Danvers in a lead role.
She's boring as shit.
Yeah, she's not exciting. I mean, here's a problem with female superheroes that aren't Wonder Woman. They're written to be dudes. They're stern. They're not funny, nor fun, nor compassionate, or caring. I don't care how they want to. These people in the comic book blogosphere want to word it, but like, men and women are different, and you got to make the characters represent, you know, like what a real woman would be like as opposed to a real man. Don't make them just like it works with Ripley in the first Alien movie, because she's just serves a purpose to survive and fight the thing. But in Aliens, she takes on a more maternal role and becomes more of like a traditional woman while being an action hero at the same time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
These superhero comic books don't know how to do that, because they don't really write for fans. They write for the press, and it's just a big circle jerk. It's a big echo chamber. That's actually a small echo chamber.
Well, especially now, right? So before, early on, you know, Jean Grey, although she was not the best character even when we were kids, she at least like they at least acknowledged the differences in that. Okay, I'm not Cyclops, I'm not Wolverine. She brought something different to the team, and it's so hard to find comic books, especially movies now, where it reflects that. Like, it just, you know, like you said, things are just They're just different. We're not saying inferior. We're just saying fucking different. And when you write them to be these altruistic characters that don't fit the narrative of the characters themselves, it comes off as fucking weird and horrible. And there's definitely a threat of that happening with Captain Marvel, because even in her own costume, she looks uncomfortable and weird as shit.
Yeah, you brought up the heavy-handedness of Black Panther. I'm glad if you really paid attention to it in the first post-credit sequence, they kind of pulled it back a bit. Because this isn't a spoiler, but they really made it like he was going to go. He basically bought the ghetto and was going to clean it up. But then he goes in front of the United Nations and goes, "I'm here for all people." So they do rectify it. It almost feels like a reshoot or an add-on later on down the line.
Well, the only reason I say that they didn't do it as an add-on, I think that was the point, right? I think the one reason why I liked it a lot, even though there was a lot of heavy-handed bullshit, was that they showed, okay, this is what it looks like when you have a brother that's only going for black people. That was part of the reason that he lost, right? Because he wasn't going for everyone. And then at the end of the movie, Black Panther realized that we can't just only care about Africans, we gotta care about everybody. And that's what was like the redeeming part of the movie that I liked a lot, was that they showed, like, Michael B. Jordan, his character, you're empathetic, you somewhat understand it, but with he's so short-sighted and awkward. Well, I'm only going to care about the oppressed and blah 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 blah. That mind view doesn't work today, and that what was so good about it.
All right, so we've given you guys about 10 minutes of a spoiler-free discussion. So look for a timestamp in the video, because we're going to actually do a few of the fan things and stuff towards the end of this episode. So, this is your last chance for spoilers, but I do have a funny story for the listeners before you go, if this is all you listen to. So, it was supposed to be a big group of us that went tonight here in Cincinnati. It was supposed to be me, Loudy, Dan, Phil, and this guy named Nickety Rickett, known as Nick Rickett. Well, when I ordered the tickets about, I don't know, a month ago, because I didn't want to miss out on this cultural landmark, Phil goes to me, "You need to order them for the Western Hills Cinema." And I said, "Why?" He's like, "I just really want to go to that cinema." Well, it was cheaper. They had renovated the whole thing. The seats were nicer, so I thought, you know what? Fine, I'll buy the tickets for the Western Hills Cinema. So we get to today. Loudy picks me up. We drive out. We get something to eat, and we get to the theater, and it's like 6:45. I'm standing there with a big stack of tickets. I'm waiting. It's 7:55. Phil hasn't shown up. He's like, "Where are you guys at?" I said, "We're in the lobby." He goes, "Well, I'm upstairs." Well, there is no upstairs to this movie theater. Phil drove to the one in Kentucky.
Seriously.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So Phil fucking he's the one that wanted to go see it at this theater. And then he didn't even show up to the theater. He's like, "I forgot." He's like, "Stop fucking with me, guys." I sent him a fucking video. I was like, "This is us in the lobby of this theater. You're not here. Here are your tickets. Thanks."
Tough shit.
Yeah, well, so what I ended up doing is I returned their tickets for a refund. Loudy and I had a whole row to ourselves that I had bought previously, and it was a good time. And I gotta say...
Made money.
Yeah. And I gotta say, the theater-going experience was actually pretty positive. So, everyone was quiet. They tried to clap at the end, during the battle, but, people just, looked back and were like, "Not now, not now." So, let's get into the spoilers.
Was your guys' theaters full?
No.
No, ours was, yeah.
Usually on Thursdays, theaters are never full, usually.
Well, mine was, because I hate to say it, but people around here buy into that hype. So you had people dressed in dashikis and shit.
Oh my god!
And I'm just like, you realize this is a fictional African country. They're not going to dress like you or act like you.
Was Dashiki pregnant?
Oh Jesus! But it was funny. There was this family. They had a couple kids. They were decked out in African garb, and then the kids had Black Panther T-shirts, and they were just they were the first people to leave. They didn't even stay for the post-credit shit. So you can clearly see that they were there to support the cause, but not to support the MCU.
They don't fucking care about the character.
No. They're there because it's a black thing, and they're like, "We gotta support it."
Where were you when Blade was in theaters, goddammit?
They're busy fucking doing other shit.
Because mine was like a quarter full. There was tons of empty
You
space.
do live in rural Missouri, though.
No. I drove up to like the more metropolitan area.
Would you say it was a quarter black?
Of the quarter that was there, not even.
Okay.
Of the quarter of the theater that was full, it was probably maybe.
Again, you live in Missouri and you use the phrase "Jap" all the time. I can see that not being
that's right. Yeah, there's no black people in the state of Missouri. I forgot. We have absolutely zero. Yeah, Missouri now 0% black.
That's not what I said.
That's why Randy Orton lives there now. So, racist bitch. So let's get into some spoiler discussion. So first off, let's talk about this heavy-handed bullshit. It was about 80%, 70% of the way through the movie, and then that shit finally started to poke its fucking head through. I knew it was coming. Like, I didn't want it to be there.
I had hopes. I was just like, like in the beginning with a little scene, I was like, they're kind of hitting on it. They're kind of hinting at it here, but like it may just be like, it's gonna go away. It's fine. And then they have the fucking like flashback scene, and I was just like, oh, there you are. I see.
Well, it's part of the story. I was okay with, like the fact that they touched on like the cultural effect of shit. I understood that, but you don't have to harp on it so hard. Like having it be in the 90s, they would be kids back then. I understood that. Having the uncle be radicalized, again, I understood that. But having, Michael B. Jordan's dialogue at the end of the movie, I was like, oh my God, we've already been told this shit. You don't have to be, you're not Malcolm X, dude. Stop trying to talk like him.
And that's why I'm glad he's dead.
You've killed so many fucking people. How are you righteous now?
Yeah, you're right. Piece of shit is what you fucking
He's like, oh, I killed so many of my brothers and sisters. Like, motherfucker, that's a bad thing.
Yeah. And it's like, his line at the end is like, it's like, oh, I want to die, and, like my brothers and sisters who jumped off the boat, before getting.
I actually love that line. I love that line.
And I was just like, oh, damn, all right, shit, okay, my bad.
Did you notice that when they showed the thing of history, they made a point to show the slave trade, but then they jumped out the rest of the world's history. It's like, nope, we're going back to this shit.
Yeah, but I mean, the beginning sequence, because this animated thing kind of reminded me of like Hellboy 2 a little bit, and I kind of like that. They went really quick through the whole history of Wakanda, and it was good. Yeah, it was cool. It was good. I liked it. And this is obviously an origin story of Black Panther. I think they did good with the whole movie. There was a lot of filler in it, but it was adequate. I think.
Yeah, that was part of the problem. I think you don't have to have so much goddamn. Felt like, oh my God.
Well, what was some of the filler you didn't like? Because I definitely have points to the movie that I didn't like that weren't worried about the racial rhetoric and all that stuff. There are other problems I have with the movie as a movie, but what are some of the ones you guys had? Because then I'll chime in.
Well, the fucking him at the end where he's just like, I killed my brothers and sisters, blah blah blah. That was the part I didn't like. Like I'm just like, you don't have to fucking have that part in there. And then when when they like the first time they did it, where he's like, oh, people who look like us have been oppressed. Like the first, I was like, okay, that explains your motive. But then when he said it again when they're loading the weapons in the vehicles, I was like, okay, dude. Like, we get it. We fucking get
it. Speaking of that point, I thought the movie was kind of oddly paced.
It was.
It was.
That's the biggest point. My biggest complaint with this movie is that the pacing, like, up through the Korea scene was awesome. Like, I was into it. I was like, yes, okay, cool. They're not pulling any of this shit. Then when they get to that plane graveyard and Ulysses S. Claw gets shot and shit, that's when the movie took a fucking massive dump. It was just like, hey... I completed or failed my mission, we're back in Wakanda, and then all this shit happens at once, then there's this lull, and then the climax is kind of weak.
Yeah, because, like, Ulysses S. Claw, died, and I was like, wait a second, this is weird, and I was like, this he had a cool gun in it. I was like, I wanted to see more of this, thing he had, and, they only showed it twice of him,
it was too
firing
expensive
off whatever.
To render.
I guess that's what it was. Too expensive to render and do his green screen armor or whatever the fuck it was, And I was like, and they kind of built that character up throughout through the other movies.
I was so mad they killed him, man.
Me too. I was as well because they built him up as being this really bad guy, and for Wakanda, for Black Panther, he was really against him in
It was a lame death too.
Oh yeah, he just got shot. I was like, the fuck, man! Like you were a badass a minute ago when you were walking to the casino, but now you're just like a little bitch. Like what the fuck? Like what's going on here?
There's
Yeah,
still an hour and change left of the movie when they killed him too. It's
I know.
It's like, dude, you iced the guy that you've built up this
Since
whole
Age of
time.
Ultron.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
take him out before, like, right at about the halfway point. It's like, okay, this is gonna slow down.
It was all in
Yeah.
service of Killmonger, and I thought he was not the worst Marvel villain, but far from the best. Even if we just keep it to the MCU, I feel like he definitely is weaker than Loki. I even think I thought Baron Zemo was much better of a villain than Killmonger.
Fucking what's his name from Civil War that ends up becoming Crossbones?
Yeah, him.
He's what's his name? Rumlow.
Brock Rumlow.
Yeah, he's better. But and even kind of going back, like again, this is not and I know that like apparently Jeff and I are the outcasts of people who believe this, but like a big theme in Black Panther is the shoes on the other foot. They make the same mistakes, right? And they very barely touch on that. So they had a glimpse of it when his girlfriend's like, "Well, we could help save the world," blah 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 blah, and he's just like, "Well, blah 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 blah," And they don't really go into that very much. That was what pissed me off. Like that's a huge part of Black Panther is, hey, he's a black dude who's a king, who's the most advanced country in the world, and the Wakandans aren't perfect, and they don't really touch on the fact that the Wakandans make a lot of the same fucking mistakes that you would assume that well-developed countries make, and they didn't really explore that very well. That I thought.
No, they didn't at all. They was just like utopia the whole time, and I
think that was intentional, though.
Yeah, I want to say it's intentional because that's what I think as well. It's like it's not perfect. You had to you had to break some eggs to make an omelet kind of thing. It's like, where are the eggs you broke? Where are they?
I mean, even the Wakandans still kill each other.
Yeah. At the end, that was like they fought each other. I was like, this is odd, but okay, whatever.
I thought that whole ending sequence where they fought in the field with the armored rhinos and shit, while it looked cool, I just thought it was kind of like stupid and pointless because they seem like Vulcans in a way where like logic overruns emotion and like their duty, and they follow a set of rules. So with him not yielding in the battle and coming back to challenge, they should have acknowledged that they know the rules in history. They should have not started to fight him. That was kind of stupid. They should have acknowledged that Killmonger wasn't actually the king in the realm of the rules. So it's like, huh? They kind of went back on everything they had built them up to be at that point.
Right. Well, not only that, but like when he's addressing the elders or whatever, and like that's the last you see of him. So when he's the king, they film it as if the elders are like, okay, well, he's the king, now we're not going to do anything. You don't see this defense of ideals when Warmonger takes control, and that was something that really I think hurt the overall effectiveness of the movie, the theme that you're going for in terms of Wakanda helping the rest of the world, being isolationist, but the elders don't say shit. It's like, okay, well then now we're getting to the end of the movie where you're just trying to wrap shit up instead of actually making a story that follows the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, there should have been some divide amongst the elders, like, I'm with him. Oh, I don't believe this. There should have been some sort of divide there, or at least all of the there should have been some sort of discussion scene in that in that room about what he's doing and stuff. But there wasn't. It's like, he's going to kill everybody? Oh, shit, I'm too old now. Oh, yeah, just do it, man.
It felt like a Phase 1 Marvel movie in the way it was structured.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to be worst version of a Phase 1, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, if I'm going to be brutally honest, this really sits with, like, not as... I wouldn't rate it the same as the first Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man 2 and the Incredible Hulk, but it feels like that because Marvel movies have evolved into something else.
Yes.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And they in this one devolved back to Phase 1, which many would argue, but Phase 1 was the best phase. I disagree.
It was a needed phase. It wasn't the best phase though. We needed it. We didn't like it.
Well, I think we're at a point in the franchise where everyone's going to assume that an origin story is going to be like Iron Man, and I think this is the first one. Albeit it was a good movie. I liked it. Like I said, I gave it a 7, probably the lowest of everyone here. I just gave it a straight 7. it's not Iron Man, and that Iron Man, not only did it fit it create the universe, but Iron Man from top to bottom, it fits together, everything makes sense. This one, a lot of characters did things that went against what they said that they were about in the beginning of the movie, and that fucking hurts it longevity wise, because again, it's a good movie, but after Infinity War, how much are you going to watch this movie?
Yeah, exactly.
I think Infinity War will be a lot like the first Avengers, meaning Avengers 1 was a lot like a Thor sequel because it dealt with a lot of things from Thor to carry over. I feel like Infinity War will be a big carryover from Black Panther, and then I want to see less of them because, like I said, I don't think there's anything else to tell. I know the MCU can make any character relevant and popular, but let's really be honest with ourselves. Unlike a lot of YouTube channels, Black Panther was never an A-list character. He has never been an A-list character.
He's a strong B.
He's a strong B in certain time periods. Early 70s when he's on the Avengers and he's a mainline Avenger, definitely a strong B+ player, as they would say to Daniel Bryan in the WWE. But when you get through the 80s, Black Panther's really not even a fucking footnote in 1980s Marvel when, in my opinion, Marvel's at its best. Now, that doesn't reflect poorly on Black Panther as a character. It just means that his lineage isn't as strong as these people want to make it out to be. And that's why I don't want to see it anymore.
He's never going to be Blade. He's not going to be even
Blank Man. He's never going to be as good as Blank Man.
He's not even cyber.
Well, we don't even have to limit him to black. We don't even have to limit him to black superhero comparisons. He's never going to be Spider-Man. He's not even as popular as like a third-tier X-Man.
Oh,
realistically, no. I'm being honest. You can name.
He's 15, a little bit higher than third-tier X-Man.
You can name 15 to 20 X-Men characters in terms of popularity, not just like 2018 popularity, but in terms of overall popularity. Before you would name Black Panther, you could probably name 40 Marvel characters that have been more popular than Black Panther over the years.
I wouldn't say 4. I think that's exaggerated a little bit. And the only reason I say exaggerated is mainly because, like now. So I'd say if you take in the last maybe 10 years, I think the last 10 years in terms of story wise, he's strong B, low level A because of things. Even though Secret Wars was not. Right, Civil War was good. Secret Wars, he was probably one of the only good things of Civil War. Shadowland, he was really good in Shadowland. He starts defending Avengers vs. X-Men. He's good. But as far to your point, longevity wise, he's not that guy. Go ahead.
No, I was literally just going to say, I think you and I are on the exact same page here. And all I'm using the example is the entire Marvel lineage, which that's why these other characters have the longevity in terms of, like, you can make 50 Spider-Man movies if you pace it out right, because Spider-Man has 55 years of history that you can go back and reinterpret and put on film. Black Panther maybe has a handful of stories, and even if they're even inside of that handful, they're not all T'Challa stories. Like the one from the TV series that they adapted, where Captain America during World War II interacts with King T'Chaka.
Yes.
You can't make a Black Panther prequel because that wouldn't work.
No.
So that's why
he's not on his own. He's not his own character at that point.
And you know what? Look at this movie. In many ways, is like Wonder Woman, where the movie was almost free of agenda. Because, like, look at last year at this time, everyone's going on about Wonder Woman and first female superhero movie and all this other shit. Now we're being lied to and saying this is the first black superhero movie. Hell, he's not even the first black superhero in the MCU.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Now, would I say he's the best in the MCU? That's definitely up for debate. I personally think the Falcon's the best if we're just limiting to black characters, because I like his relationship with Cap and now Bucky. But Black Panther was great. Like he himself was awesome. I don't think his supporting cast was as great as it could have been. I think they were kind of high on
outside the sister. Yeah,
the sister was great, and I really liked the girlfriend.
Yeah, she was fine too. Yeah, the sister was basically Q.
Yeah,
pretty much.
I didn't like Angela Bassett's role because she really wasn't there. She was just kind of high of her name. Forrest Whitaker, I hate Forrest Whitaker as an actor, so I was glad to see him die.
Yeah, like that Angela Bassett, Forrest Whitaker there. And the guy from Get Out, like, just I think his name's honestly like, oh, the guy from Get Out is in this too. Oh, really? Holy
Wait, was
shit!
the guy from Get Out the military guy? That was the
Yeah,
farmer?
yeah, that's him.
Fuck, I didn't realize that was him. Man, he looks
guy
like he
with the
gained like
rhinos?
40 pounds.
Well,
Yeah,
and then
he
you
did.
gotta remember too the Ghost in the Darkness. That was the dad. That Val Kilmer movie where they're fighting the lions.
I've never seen that movie.
Yeah. Oh shit, you're right. Holy shit.
We'll watch it for that movie's scary as shit. Two lions, based on a true story. It's not a complete true story, but he anyway. I digress. The point is, my point is, yeah, to bolster what you were saying, Angela Bassett, outside the sister and the girlfriend, he at least with Captain America, Falcon is a great character. He's a great supporting character. As much as people want to pretend that Hawkeye isn't a great supporting character, he's a great support. Fucking for Black Panther, outside the sister and the general chick,
I liked her too.
Yeah, the friend was okay, but he's in jail now. So like, what more does he have to lend to the story?
I honestly thought they should have. Okay, so when he comes to America, no pun intended, to buy the projects, they should have had an extra couple of minutes where maybe him and that guy from that snow tribe, maybe he makes him. Maybe he replaces the Get Out guy with him.
Absolutely,
and tries to expand.
Absolutely.
That's what I thought they were going to do. I thought that would have been a nice logical step instead of like him coming to the ghetto's fine. And I get it, but like that's where you get that disconnect of like African culture and black culture and
yeah, but like the guy from like the Snow Tribe or whatever, he was at the table at the end whenever he enters the room again. He's down there with like the elders and stuff, so he's part of that group now. So
right,
being
but you don't
exiled.
acknowledge it.
No, true. Yeah, true. It's
a deleted scene more than anything else.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's not acknowledged, but it's like it is seen, and we kind of it's more visual than it is like said. Yeah, that's very true. But yeah,
I
him
liked that guy a lot.
I did, I did too, man. Like that,
Cool.
those guys were.
He was hilarious.
We were vegetarians.
That was good.
Fuck. Yeah. Oh man, it was. Yeah, like I wanted to see more of those guys. They were awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely a world in that film that I'm interested in. Like, it was interesting to see. Remember that black? Well, why am I saying the black dude? Because they're mostly all black in this movie. I gotta say the white dude. But no, remember the guy that had the big thing in his lip, but he had like a green suit on, like the Riddler.
Yeah.
He was the only person dressed in like Western culture clothing in that inner circle. You had everyone else in like fictional garb, which was cool. But that one dude who had the big rings and shit in his lips and ears, but he had the fucking like a British suit on. I thought that was interesting to see those kind of things in Wakanda.
The cross culture.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, I mean, like I really did. One thing I really did love about the movie was the visuals. Like everything was like nice wide shots.
It was way better than the trailer for sure.
Oh god, yeah, dude.
Yes.
Like the trailer was a trailer, and it gave us all the little action things they wanted to see. But once they had like those wide shots and the ceremonies and like the guards and everything, I was like, shit, man, this is fucking awesome. You put some thought into this, man. Especially the ritual fight scene. I was like, that was great.
It looks better than a modern Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
That's for goddamn.
Sadly, you're right. I was like, this is fucking amazing.
Now, now I got a question for everybody. Dion will be the one that's able to answer it the most, but this is obviously to you guys too. In terms of just strict cinematography, and Nick, you brought this up. This is why I asked it.
Okay.
In terms of strict cinematography, which Marvel movie do you think looks the best? Do you think this looks the best of all the Marvel movies in just terms of visuals, or do you think it's up there, or do you think there are other ones that beat it in terms of just like visual spectacle?
Visual spectacle, I'd say it's up there because they had this. They had especially like the ancestor scenes when they go into like the plane of existence was fucking amazing, and it read like they're somewhere else, and you saw like the Black Panthers like on the trees and stuff. Like it was really good. Like I would say the thing that the visually the thing that is above this is probably Doctor Strange. Merely because of all the weird shit they did and how fucking hard that would be to render and do in itself. That to me is on top because of just like them manipulating space and time and like going through stuff and like doubling things and stacking things on top of each other and how crazy that movie was. So that to me is like
how intense that was.
Yeah, that to me is number one in visual aesthetics, visual VFX, and like just the overall feel of it. Like it's fucking crazy. This one is a close, probably I would say in the top 5 for sure. Top 5, top 3 has to be, because you can tell they took some time with the cinematography and really put some thought into the visuals and they wanted to make Wakanda look like a utopia, and they achieved it very well.
Kendo?
Completely echoing everything he said. It looked really good. That's one thing I could never complain about with this movie is how it looked, and it was, to me, it looked really good. It's like you were saying with the wide shots, it literally immerses the viewer into that world that they're trying to show you. It's like, here, it's all encompassing all around you. The ancestral sequences things, I agree, that was great, just because you got the Black Panthers, but they're not real detailed. They're just kind of shadowy at the glowing eyes thing, and then that really cool purpley blue sunset thingy they had going on in the background, that looked really cool. The end, when Michael B. Jordan's going down for the count and they're standing there on the mountaintop looking at the sunset, I thought that looked really cool too.
Yeah,
that's
that was
an
really
extremely awesome visual, whether it's real or not, which obviously it's not, but I was like, that looks really awesome, and Jeff's probably really, really excited to see Michael B. Jordan die.
That's why I liked him in the movie, because he fucking died.
Yeah, so I was like, I have a great idea that right now that Jeff's when he saw this part, he was probably applauding in his head.
Dion, what do you think about in terms of visuals? Where would you rank this? Like with these guys, or different?
Definitely different. I think it's definitely one of the better ones. If it's top 5, it's number 5. I think the first Iron Man. I think Thor Ragnarok, and Thor: The Dark World were all better than this one. I think it definitely looks better than what it did in the trailers for sure. That being said, the Rainbow Bridge takes the cake. Frida's death scene takes the cake.
Oh God, I forgot about that.
Even in Iron Man, where he's flying next to the F-16s, takes the cake. This one, if it's top 5, it's number 5 in my opinion. I think this one is middle of the pack visually. Again, the trailers have a huge effect on that, because again, it looked. They cleaned it up, and I'm proud of him for cleaning it up. He looked way better in that scene during the chase. He looked night and day better, in my opinion. But again, it's not as good as earlier Marvel. You can definitely see, like, to steal your phrase earlier, cutting the corner to get to Infinity War. I could tell that shit. And again, I liked the movie a lot. The suit looked great, but him dropping out of the Wakandan Quinjet, if you will, didn't look all that great. Him throwing the beads or whatever they're called, when it comes out of his hand, the whole frame rate, I feel like slows down a bunch, and it looks like a fucking cutscene in a video game. Shit, fuck you. And then what else? Oh, what was the other big one? Shit, I can't remember off the top of my head. When they're showing what's his name's hand, and it's sitting on a table, it looked like Deus Ex to me. Like, it did not look that good.
Shit.
I was like, what the fuck? Like, why does it look so weird? But like I said, my opinion, it's middle of the pack. But if it's top 5, it's number 5, bordering on 6.
Now, for me, in terms of visuals, I do think it's a strong contender, but I would still put the 2 Guardians of the Galaxy movies over.
Yes.
Definitely, because, dude, Ego's Planet looked amazing.
Oh,
and if anyone wants to say, like, well, the core of Wakanda with the vibranium looked cool, Ego's Planet looked the same.
Yep.
So, just in terms of visuals, Guardians 2 takes the cake. Guardians 1, like when fucking Star-Lord's freezing and his eyes freeze over and the space is like purpley and blue, that was visually stunning. Definitely the 3 Thor movies, I think, beat it in turn. Well, yeah, because the Asgard stuff definitely is more impressive. The Captain America trilogy has better films, but they don't look that great. But they're not supposed to. They take place in, like, Maryland.
Right. Yeah. They're all terrestrial. Yeah, they're all very terrestrial.
Same with Spider-Man: Homecoming. There were no cool. Now that's a problem for me. Spider-Man: Homecoming is very boring and plain and has no fucking cool visual hallmarks, but like Spider-Man 2 from 14 years ago does. So that's a topic for another video of me bitching about Spider-Man Homecoming. But I'm trying to think of other MCU films that I thought looked better. I think we're hitting most of them. I mean, we've seen everyone in theaters. Yeah.
Well, I think from like and this is a scene I didn't think was necessary when the first challenge for the throne. I don't think that had to happen, but visually when they're on the waterfall, I was like, they're like the first pan up looks really good. The second one when he's standing on the waterfall, I was like, that looks like a fucking video game cutscene. Like it doesn't look like they rendered that one all the way. And then when he has old boy from the Gorilla Clan, the Gorilla Tribe rather, Gorilla Clan, the Gorilla Tribe, in the fucking armbar, when it pans up, he's like, "Oh, do it for your people." I was like, that doesn't look all that great. And then when he's talking to his girlfriend, that looked absolutely like it was fucking a green screen. When they're on the cliff. Like you that was super green screen. I was like, God damn, guys, you rushed that one, didn't you?
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure they did it for time as well. It's like it's easier to do green screen than it is to like draw like helicopter them across the world or whatever and like shoot this one scene.
Yeah, I mean, like I said about cutting corners, I get it, but that doesn't mean I like it.
Yeah, from what I've been looking at across some of the Box Office Mojo and Wikipedia, it looks like the price of this movie was $200 million.
God damn, dude.
Yeah, the price was $200 million according to Wikipedia. So
normally when I see a movie from Marvel, I definitely see the budget on the screen. I guess there's so much stuff that doesn't exist that they had to CGI, and I get that. Like, what's-her-face's laboratory, the sister, looked great.
Yes. Yeah,
it did. It looked
I
really
loved
awesome.
that aspect. I know they're trying to make this into like a James Bond parallel. Here's the thing. You need a black spy superhero movie? Make more Black Panther movies where he goes on missions. He takes his sister, his girlfriend, and that general lady. There you go. You got your women action heroes. You got a black guy.
Stuff like that. I'm okay with that.
Leave 007 alone. Bring in T'Challa. I'm all for that. Because like that casino scene was awesome.
Yeah, like when I saw it, I was like, this reminds me of Casino Royale or like one of the Bond movies that has come out recently with Daniel Craig. I was like, this looks like that because it's smoky. The light, you have the lens flare from all the lights. It's bright colored and everything. I was like, this reads like a James Bond movie, and Martin Freeman reads like Felix real hard.
It looked just like Skyfall. Remember when they went to that Hong Kong casino with the dragons?
Yes.
If only it was that good of a movie.
Yeah. It was a much better casino scene than fucking Last Jedi, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Shit.
Amen to that, man. Amen to fucking that.
I wish. Look, I don't think Black Panther is going to make $1 billion at the box office.
No, but it'll
probably not.
It'll make what the other ones make for an origin story, and I don't think it deserves to make $1 billion. It's not this cross-cultural landmark movie like the first Avengers, and it's not like a continuation of something that's been building for years. It's just a stop. It really is like a road bump or a speed bump in the road where you have to slow down to get through it. And while it doesn't damage your car, you would rather got where you wanted to go quicker. And that's ultimately, I think, Black Panther's legacy is it's fine for what it is, but you could skip it in any MCU viewing because literally the post-credit sequence is the only tie-in with the MCU. All right, so you guys still here?
He's going to get his girlfriend to come to the fucking ceremony. I was like, that didn't need to happen. That was an extra 30 minutes. Like that didn't need to be in the movie. It was cool, like him fighting the dudes, and he's in like the whole Batman aesthetic where he's in the tree, and the guy's like, oh shit, and then he kicks their ass. Like that was cool, but it didn't have to be in the goddamn movie.
Yeah, I agree. And I liked that scene. I know this sounds a little, here's me being heavy-handed, but I like that they didn't try to demonize any white people in this movie because Disney's smarter than that.
Absolutely.
Marvel, okay, put it like this. Marvel is smarter than that.
Marvel is,
Kevin Feige knows his audience. And let's be honest, Dion, black people in the comic book field, or not industry, but black comic book fans are a very small minority. I'd say there are more black anime fans than there are black comic book fans, and that's not being disparaging towards black people. If you look at it, I think what we figure out, it's like 15% of the U.S. population is black.
Yeah,
something like that.
So not maybe 1 out of every 50 people are comic book fans. So if you and I'm talking like dyed in the wool, read the books type of thing, not like hey, I saw a movie and bought a t-shirt.
Absolutely.
I'm talking like you and I, who fucking have our own personal libraries of these things, thousands and thousands of books and shit.
Boxes and boxes of comic books.
Yeah, like that's a minority, and you know, it's fine that they wanted to. What am I trying to say here? It's really not that important. Never mind.
To kind of build up what you're saying, it was. This is the fucking culture, and if he's king, they have to. They were being extra in terms of how that world works, but in terms of like the fans, they were smart not to be like, hey, he's still T'Challa from the comic books. Like they didn't. It wasn't like Star Wars where they blatantly just tell, the guy fan, go fuck yourself.
Yeah,
Marvel
exactly.
Smart enough to not be, hey, original fans, go fuck yourself.
And I'm glad that's why Kevin Feige is the man at Marvel, and I'm so happy that he.
I was kind of hoping they would call Martin Freeman's character Quincy Orcha. Like I was waiting for that to happen real bad.
Well, I liked him in this movie. I hated him in Civil War. I thought he was an unlikable prick.
Who?
Martin Freeman, the CIA agent, the one white guy in this movie.
The one white guy.
They saved his fucking character, boy.
Yeah, definitely. He was pretty good in this one.
Yeah, I was impressed how not impressed, but I liked the aspect where he took a bullet for what's her name. So Black Panther brought him in to the Secret World of Wakanda to heal his spine and all this shit. I like the compassion that the character has, and that they've consistently shown. What the fuck?
Like the sister and the girlfriend go to fight the Golden Panther, as I like to call them. And they get their fucking asses kicked. Like I fucking thought that was really cool. Where it's like, T'Challa likes them. They're both smart and cool bitches, and that's great. But they went to fight the fucking main bad guy, and he fucking kicked their ass. And then when he had the flower or whatever that gives the Black Panther his powers, and he goes burn it. He goes burn it, and it's just like no. He goes, when I tell you something, I mean that shit. That was like they reminded the fans like this dude is a fucking bad guy. I fucking love
Yeah, exactly.
It was just, like I said, I was so glad to see him go. I did like his introduction scene quite a bit when he was in that British Museum.
Yes.
And he poisoned the lady's coffee, and then I even loved the part where Claw's like, we spread out the crime scene and make it look like amateurs.
Dude, I that's why I love Claw and his total disregard for everything in the whole movie, and I wanted more of that. I want especially when he pulls out the piece of fucking vibranium from his pants.
Yeah, from a fucking brown bag, and it says
yeah. I was like, I wanted more of that. I wanted more of him fucking with them. Like that's what I wanted, and he just dies getting shot 3 times. Like,
see, I was hoping that he would be the bad version of Rosario Dawson.
Okay.
And where he would be in the movies, and he would be the dude that was like bad, but he was the one, kind of like the black dude in the Daredevil and the Netflix shows. But to kill him, especially this Andy Serkis who got fucking built for that role, I was like, why are you wasting him? God damn it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he did get fucking cut for that role, and then you just fucking kill him. Like, God damn it, man. That was dumb. So dumb.
It was funny. Loudy was like, "What happened to that guy's arm?" And I was like, "Oh, he got his arm cut off in Age of Ultron." And so I had to explain it to him. And he's like, "How?" I'm like, "A robot cut his arm off by mistake." He goes, "I don't get it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Whatever, Loudy. Go eat a butthole.
We were having dinner and I had that discussion. We were talking about stuff. I'm like, yeah, the other guys love you, but anytime you come up, we talk about you eating asshole. And he just laughed because he knows it's the truth. He's like, yeah,
hey, man,
I can't deny it.
That's honestly the worst we say about him. We don't go any further than that. He's not.
Yeah,
he's our lovable. He's our Donnie. Loudy's our fucking Donnie.
I just hope he doesn't have a heart attack bowling one night.
It's all right. We'll get a Ralph's can to put his ashes in.
God, that's a fantastic film. We got to do that for Patreon this year.
We have to.
You're out of your element.
Yeah.
So, Dion.
Yes, sir.
Obviously, everyone involved too. We said, name a movie in the MCU that you definitely like less than this one, that you would rank this above.
Homecoming, by far.
Yeah.
Homecoming, Thor 2, Iron Man 2 and 3. Yeah, there's a few there. There's a few.
Two.
Yeah.
I will always say 2 gets unjustly shit on. I think, for me, Black Panther's on par with 2. Iron Man 2 for sure.
Okay, all right.
I wish we had the amount of time between now and Infinity War to do commentaries for all the MCU flicks, because, man,
Jesus.
I would love to have in-depth discussions and talk about the films knowing what we know now prior to Infinity War.
Yes.
Because like I've said to you, Dion, in countless conversations, Infinity War changes the superhero movie landscape. It's going to kill off characters we love. It's going to continue it on. It's going to be interesting for better or worse. So we'll see, where we are in 3 months, essentially. I'm really anxious to get there. One thing I didn't like about this movie is it didn't build any hype for Infinity War.
Outside of there was no build.
No, yeah, there was like a text thing at the end. It's like, Black Panther will be back for Infinity War. Oh, okay, thanks. I think I already figured that out.
Yeah, it was kind of what they did with Iron Man and before Age of Ultron, where it's like, oh, he'll be back, blah 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 blah. Like, it's like, we know that, motherfuckers. Give me something to get a boner about. Jesus.
Yeah, I just wanted to see. I really wanted to see Captain America pop up at the end. I mean, we got Bucky, and that's fine, and it's cool to see his rehabilitation. That, I guess it's T'Challa's sister that's going to make him normal.
Right.
I was waiting for there to be some romance between them, because I felt like that was the next. I thought they were going to do that next, but I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, I would have liked to see Captain America there at least. Yeah, that would have been cool as hell. But whatever.
See, the thing I was really hoping that they would do to be like to make this movie the risky, sassy bitch of the franchise, would like T'Challa's getting his ass kicked, or he's fighting, and then fucking the Winter Soldier shows up and like fucking does that killer one punch thing he does to a dude's head they did in Winter Soldier, where he kills a guy with one punch. I was like, if you have fucking Bucky show up and save his ass, I am all in it. But they didn't do it. I was like, oh.
Well, no, because a white guy cannot save the black guy.
The fucking the Hobbit saved a bunch of dudes. That was
well, that's different. That was mission
ships.
B. That was side mission B. Okay, that's fine. All right, that's side mission B. It's okay.
Well,
can't be the main mission.
You could say that, or the white guy, with the help of black technology, helped save the day.
That's true as well. That's very true. I'll roll with that.
Well, we can thank 2 white guys for creating all this shit. So.
That's true.
Well,
that's one thing.
A Jewish white guy, fucking Stan.
Hey, Jack Kirby's just as Jewish. His name's Jacob Kurtzberg. So, I mean, that's his real name. The Stan Lee cameo was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't anything special. I was just like, all right, he's there, cool.
I feel like if I say anything disparaging about him, he'll die, and then I'll feel really guilty. So I won't say anything. I won't say that I'm tired of seeing him in these movies, because I'm not. But he needs to do something really incredible in not Age of Ultron, in Infinity War. Like, he needs to either be like saved by Spider-Man or something crazy, instead of just literally walking into frame, saying a one-liner, and that's it.
Yeah, he needs more stuff than that. I know. In Iron Man 1, he like Robert Downey Jr. calls him Hugh Hefner, and I was like, that's funny, that's hilarious. Like, we need something like that, But
yeah, God damn it, I really can't wait till May. I'm looking forward to our WrestleMania trip, and the channel's growing, and I love interacting with the people, and it's fun. We're getting ready to read some fan questions in a minute about Black Panther. And then, that movie comes out. Like, we really have, like, in terms of, like, the four of us together, the next, like, 6 months of this year, we got, like, a lot of cool shit going on. I'm really excited
so
this channel.
so much content,
Sexy shit coming up. Sexy shit.
So many things happening. It's crazy.
So I guess the next movie review we'll do for the channel is going to be Infinity War. Then we have Deadpool 2, Solo: A Star Wars Story, and then whatever else comes in over the summer.
God my God.
Solo's going to be so painful to watch.
I don't mean to cut you off there. I really don't. But seeing that trailer again was just... He looks like he looks like a fucking fan version of fucking Han Solo. He has zero charisma. And fans, I've said this before, I apologize. He looks terrible. He sounds terrible. Oh, I want to be a pilot. I was like, what are you, fucking 12? You fucking bitch?
See, like, no. When I watch a trailer, I think of Star Trek 1 with Chris Pine. I think of that character all over again in that trailer.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me, and that's what it sounds like to me every time I watch it. I was like, this is Star Trek 1 trailer. This is J.J. Abrams' Star Trek 1 trailer. That's what this looks like and sounds like. Because the colors are the same, the shots are the same, the way the CG looks is the same. And I'm just like, this is him with his fucking heavy-handed influence on this, I think, is what it is.
Absolutely. Absolutely, man.
Like, yeah, him and Captain Kennedy are scissoring together at night and coming up with these dumb ideas and shit.
Well, and again, the thing that's so annoying.
There's a visual I didn't need.
You're welcome.
Fucking Han Solo had, like, again, charming, and he wasn't altruistic when A New Hope came out. So for him to be like, oh, I wanna, what did he fucking say in that goddamn trailer?
I want to be a pilot or something like that.
Yeah. Or no, she was find out who you want to be. Like, that was what The New Hope was for. Like, for you to do that now, that's not the character anymore. Like, that, it should just be him being a fucking badass, flying in space, fucking shit up. And then
it should have been. Yeah, it should have been with the two directors before this guy did it.
Yes,
those two. It should have been those two. It would have been fun. It would have been hilarious. Would have been a good time. Would have been a buddy comedy movie. Would have been great. But no, we had to go fucking serious and get Opie to fucking direct it.
Well, God, I really just wish that movie didn't exist.
Yeah. I know there's like a fan version floating around or something that I always see popping up on Twitter and stuff all the time. It's like, it's whatever.
Hey, we get a lot of emails about that one. One of our fans actually made a fan movie, and it looked really good. So I know I plugged it previously, so I'm not leaving this guy hanging. But now let's get into some of these questions that people had about Black Panther. So this is like the mega ultra spoiler, because we're going to actually answer straight up questions that you guys had about this flick, and we're going to do it relatively quickly because there's a few of them. So, do you think that Black Panther has any longevity in the MCU past the mindless pro-black love it's getting? And that comes from Kirk Goplock Incarnate. I think we answered that one. No, it doesn't. It could, but I don't think in this current state it does.
No,
do you all agree with that one?
Yeah, I don't.
Not in this state.
I was gonna say I don't see like a Black Panther 2 coming out anytime soon.
No, I could see Black Panther teaming up with other characters.
Yeah,
and I could see, and then down the road, I wouldn't mind seeing an invasion story with Wakanda. But
Absolutely.
Other than that, maybe we'll get that with Infinity War, space invasion. Okay, so this comes from Adolf Hatlar. Why do you hate Star Wars?
Well, we hate the new ones because they suck
Have
and they
you
don't
watched
go.
them?
Yeah.
Well,
You
Adolf
must-
Haltar is probably a troll.
you must be new to the channel. We've gone into great detail over the last couple of years of what we.
We'll send you a playlist of all of our greatest hits, buddy. Don't worry, it's coming.
Okay, this one comes from Power Choke 1. Is it overly political? More, like we said, more so than other Marvel movies, but not to the level of like SJW comics and the shit these fucking
it's not it's not as political as a Star Wars movie, but it's still political. Put it that way.
It's easy to overlook. Let me put it that way. It's easy to overlook the politicalness that's in it because it's not like repulsive. It's not
Yeah,
like
very
right in
true.
your face.
Okay, this one comes from Mega Man EXE. Do you guys think it was worth the hype? I think it's good, but not worth the overhype. It fits this utopian ideal, which is why I think it got such hype. It definitely doesn't live up to the hype. It was
No.
good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably not watch it and go into Infinity War fine. Honestly, I mean, there's really nothing to connect it to that. It's more of just like here's Black Panther and here's what he's all about. Here's his origin story. That's really what it is. You could totally go without it and go into Infinity Wars and be fine.
Let's see. This is just a quick yes or no. Albedo, did it say we was Kangs? Nope, but
Nope.
Michael B. Jordan essentially tried that. Carlos Oro, cinema or torrent? I give it a cinema.
Yeah. it's
Oh
definitely worth
yeah.
it.
No, definitely with the visuals and everything. Yeah, no, I'd give it cinema. Like get it on like one of those Tuesdays or Wednesdays where they make it cheap. Like do it like that though.
Yeah. This one comes from Darth Primus. It's definitely a troll one. Black Panther will do just as well as Infinity War at the box office.
You know.
If not better.
Somebody's dreaming. Somebody's dreaming.
This movie's not going to be a $1 billion hit. I'm sorry, but first off, Black Panther, like we said earlier in the review, is not that popular of a character. Don't let anybody tell you that they were reading the comics, growing up as a kid, and all this shit. Maybe you read some Black Panther comics, but Black Panther wasn't even Marvel's top 20 or 30 in the 90s because you had all those X titles and all the Spider-Man titles and all those other titles that were popular like NFL Super Pro. But you still, but Black Panther is a fine character, but never been that popular. So when people tell you they've read all these books, all of a sudden they read them. Maybe. Let's see. This comes from VTO7. How has the left responded to the xenophobic nationalist dictatorship of Wakanda? Has there been outrage at the wealthy Wakanda for not offering aid or support to its African neighbors? Yes, that was brought up in the movie.
Yes, the gorilla tribe was not too pleased.
Black Panther set in super technological island in Africa. That's not a question. What do you think of the Black Panther cartoon? That comes from Big Fat Man. The theme song was shit, but the cartoon was all right.
I remember watching some of the cartoon thing it was on somewhere, and the beginning of it was basically the beginning of this movie. It was kind of odd. It must have been like a Netflix one or whatever. It was the same. It was really weird.
And the theme song was like Black Panther, and it was just like a bunch of people like chanting.
Yeah, this was like okay. Like the beginning of this was like you had Kendrick Lamar and people like that singing, and you had rap music and stuff, and all that at the end, and even the end credit sequence, like it was like a very music video-ish thing happening with music over it. And it was pretty awesome, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Am I racist if I don't agree it deserves 7 Oscars before I watch it? That comes from Cordy.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are entirely. How dare you?
It doesn't deserve a single Oscar.
Sorry, it really doesn't. It really doesn't.
Go wash your sheets a little bit wider, there, racist.
Yeah, this is a popcorn flick at best.
Yeah.
It's a cool flick for sure. It's not like get your panties wet level fucking movie.
I've never used this comparison ever on this show, so take note that this episode is me, 1, giving Michael B. Jordan a pass, and 2, it's not Dark Knight level quality of content. So
Oh, very true.
I've never said that before. Okay, this comes from Mike Vasquez. Will they have a Steve Rogers cameo? No, they did not.
No, they did not.
Will the Porgs join the Avengers against Thanos? If so, will they use the Force?
And they eat a lot of fucking chicken.
I've heard rumblings, and yes, they will.
Yep, and they'll learn the Force in record time because Rey teaches them.
Yep.
And she's the world record holder right now.
It's about lifting rocks.
Here comes a good one from Emmanuel Bellaston. Are there many tension-deflating jokes in this film? Any more goddamn Beyonce references? No Beyonce references.
No Beyonce references.
No, none.
And
none at
there
all.
wasn't
like
too many jokes.
There was probably like maybe 2 or 3. That's about it.
After coming from The Last Jedi, which really didn't know how to fucking pace itself with the humor, and I'm using humor in quotations, this one did have jokes, and they were funny, and they didn't really kill the vibe of the story. I think this movie was so self-aware of what it had to be, and it did it on every level. So, props to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good question. Apero Dodaro. What do you think about people saying if anyone gives Black Panther a bad review, they're racist? Is Dion a racist if he gives it a bad review?
Yes.
No, because it's merely a movie. It is just a movie. That's what it is. It is a fictional story. Yes, the character is black. Yes, it's about Africa. Yes, it's about Wakanda. It's still fiction. If you don't like it and you don't like the storytelling in it, that's fine. You're allowed. It's okay. You're fine. It's all right.
Is the CGI as bad as I hear? That comes from Samuel Davidson.
They cleaned it up a bunch.
For the most part, no. There's a few parts where it's like, yeah, we could definitely tell they were manipulating this scene, but overall, there wasn't anything like really super glaringly bad.
Let's see. Officer K, we already answered. Where does it rank in the MCU? What are there? 20 films at this point? 19?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Top half.
Yeah, top half.
Yeah, top half.
Best.
Like you said, definitely better than Spider-Man. Fuck.
Jeez.
How did it change your life?
I feel
Cost me
more
$11.
cultured, more woke, more
I would
sensitive
totally have
to
sex
the
with a bald black chick.
I had the same thoughts that entire movie.
It made Kenda use the word woke.
Yeah, her nipples were very prominent. I am more sensitive to the plight of the African at this point. I plan on sending lots of money to build water wells and food. And
You use the term Japless.
no.
Don't listen to the Only Live Twice commentary, Dion. God damn it. He basically becomes Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's.
It's wonderful. It's fucking wonderful.
Something had to make that fucking movie entertaining.
Now, yeah, well, here's an actually insightful question from John Tullett. Do you think the media's proactive approach to strongly acknowledge black characters / actors as the majority in Black Panther is actually counterproductive for diversity building and equality?
I think, and as someone who can appreciate it, it's when the movie's written to have good characters, and it just happens to be a lot of black people. Yes, I think it is productive. When you have something like what Marvel did, specifically putting a film in February for a reason, I think it's counterproductive. So it's like I said, in the previous episode, feel free to listen. When I suggested that it come out in January or even the beginning of March, there's less of a feeling of disingenuous
Pandering.
Yes, and it helps, right? Because you're not trying to make it about something. You're honestly being like, hey, it just happens to have a black dude in it. We're proud of this movie. But the way that they did this one, I think hurts. Black Panther hurts, especially when you have people. Well, I bought a whole theater out to see this movie because people are disenfranchised and deserve to see a black hero. Well, did you do the same thing for Blade? Are you going to do the same thing for Black Dynamite? Did you enjoy? Even though Spawn is kind of shat on a little bit, how did you feel about Spawn? Like, that's my issue with it.
I think Black Dynamite has more relevancy to black culture in terms of film than Black Panther does.
No. Yeah, I would say you're 100% right because it does emulate that era in film extremely well, and it does all those tropes very well.
And it pays homage to it with respect.
Oh, yeah.
It's so fucking well made on every level. Yes. Even the, people be like, well, it's racist to talk about black people selling drugs. Black and white people sell drugs. It's not like a fucking fictional thing they made up for that movie. One of the best lines in that movie is when the guy goes, Black Dynamite, I sell drugs to the community. It's a fucking incredibly well-made film. And I think if you want to talk about importance to black culture, look, superhero movies are popular. That's why these people are making these fucking pandering efforts. Oh, I'm going to buy out a theater. I'm going to do this. I'm going to raise $100,000 for the Youth Coast Guard Auxiliary. All you're doing,
and they needed,
really,
goddammit, they needed.
Yeah. By the way, did you guys catch the Back to the Future 2 reference?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Did you catch the Coming to America Beverly Hills Cop reference, Dion?
No.
The goat herder has a jacket that looks similar to Axel Foley's. They show him twice.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I said to Loudy, I'm like, dude, it looks like Axel Foley's jacket. And I think he was a sheep or a goat herder, which is the same line in Coming to America. He talks about I'm a sheep herder, I'm a student, blah, blah, blah. Remember when he's trying to cover up that he's a prince?
Yeah.
Now, one thing, this movie does have a handful of similarities to Coming to America.
Absolutely.
Oh, God, yes, it does.
Now, Coming to America is a better film. I love Coming to America.
I'm sorry, but every time I kept hearing about this movie, I kept thinking of Jamie Foxx, I Need Security, where he kept doing his, thing about Africa. do, Africa.
I was waiting for that fat guy to come out and sing, "She's your queen to me."
Dude, if there's any sort of big giant reference to that movie, I would have lost my shit, and it would have really gone up
James Earl Jones in this movie?
If that happened, it would have gone up a couple points. Honestly, it would have been like, you guys are awesome for doing this. Holy shit.
Okay, let's see. From Pax Luporum. For someone who dislikes superhero movies, should I see it?
No.
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 It's a pass for you.
Yeah, man.
Let's see. Could it be too diverse? No, it takes place in Africa, where they should... I mean, it's not South Africa. This isn't Lethal Weapon 2. We're not trying to make a movie about apartheid. So, yeah, there are going to be black people in Africa. It's completely fine. God, I love that movie. Big smile. Big smile. Big smile. Why is the media praising an ethno-nationalist superhero, but hates Trump and the ideal of enforcing borders and immigration laws with a vengeance?
He's not ethno-nationalist, you asshole. Watch the fucking movie or read the fucking comic books.
Well, T'Challa wasn't, but T'Chaka was.
Yes.
So that is a part of the movie. I think it really just comes down to modern-day hypocrisy.
Well, again, he acknowledges that his dad was wrong. He literally looks at this and says, "You were wrong. You're all wrong."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously, but that's where Wakanda came from as a society. I'm not saying.
No, yeah, for sure.
I think this person's 100% right, but there is a bit of a double standard in terms of this. I really think the media's just patting themselves on the back right now. There's a black superhero and blah, blah, blah. I don't even think Marvel's patting itself on the back. They're like, look, it's the next step. We got to make our money. Now, like I said, I think Captain Marvel will be the first SJW Marvel film, not because a woman's in the lead. It's because how they handle shit now. They think they have the clearance to get away with this shit. But I think a lot of people, like Dion and I, our loads will have been blown after Infinity War. Mm-hmm. Captain Marvel's really not a priority for me ever.
No, and looking at that fucking costume, I'm just like, she wasn't.
It looks so bad.
I remember hearing a lot of women talk about it. It's like, she looks like shit. I'm just like, thank you. At least the women said she looks like shit too, and I was just like, yeah, she looks fucking horrible. She's covered from chin to toe. It's like this is it doesn't look flattering. It doesn't look sexy. It doesn't look good at all. It looks like you're just in a giant rubber suit. It's horrible.
Yeah, Scarlett Johansson's covered for the most part, but that's a form-fitting suit. She's got a nice body. I'm not embarrassed to say that. She looks good in those.
Yeah, dude, she looks fucking hot.
And you shouldn't be, because they have no problem showing Black Panther with his shirt off, showing Thor with his shirt off, like that.
Yeah,
you can't.
The Thor shots are very gratuitous.
Yes.
Yeah, they are.
The character reactions do the same fucking. They're like, oh, even in Captain America, where Carter's like, oh, okay, she wants to touch it, like that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the theme of that joke. Is she wants to touch his body, and I'm just like, that's harassment, bitch. That's harassment. Hashtag cat 2.
All right, I think I'm gonna do 2 more. This is an easy one. This one comes from Negavenom. Is the Soul Stone in this movie? No, there is no tie into Infinity War at all outside of the post-credit sequence. And then here's one.
Isn't the Soul Stone in Jarvis, aka what's his nuts?
Oh, the Vision?
Yeah, isn't the Soul Stone in Vision?
No, because Loki, whatever, it's the Mind Gem. Because remember, it was in Loki's scepter?
Right, that's in Vision.
Yeah, that's the Mind Stone, the Soul Stone we haven't found yet.
You're right.
It must be in Infinity War in Wakanda. That's why Thanos invades Earth. That must be why he comes here.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah. Well, the Soul Stone could be the entire meteorite that crashed in. That was vibranium. That could be it.
Yeah, it could be in the fucking mountain. Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is our final one. from Ty Helms. Do you think it'll be the lowest grossing MCU film yet?
No.
Probably not.
No, I
Yeah.
don't. I mean, I don't know, man.
Because what's the lowest one now? Is it?
Probably The Incredible Hulk. Let me look that up while you guys talk.
Yeah, I thought it was either Incredible Hulk or the first Captain America. No,
Okay.
Thor was bolstered by Avengers coming out right before Avengers.
God damn, the MCU's made $13.5 billion in 10 years.
Actually, it looks like
That's more than some countries' GDP. Goddamn.
Yeah.
It looks like it's Captain America: The First Avenger. The gross, right? Is what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it looks like it's Captain America at 176.6 million.
Yeah, this will beat that.
This couldn't.
Yeah.
Captain America could have only made 170-something million dollars.
Probably domestic.
Oh yeah, it has to be more than that.
Yeah, okay. Let me look at it all the way through. Yeah. Worldwide is 370. Yeah, it was only domestic. Let's see. Does it do worldwide?
Yeah, that has to be the lowest one, man. It'll make more than that.
Yeah, I think it'll beat that.
It'll probably make more than that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
It doesn't deserve to be a flop by any means, but it's not. Like, I just want to say it one more time. It's not this watershed moment for black people.
Thank you.
Dion's a black guy. I'm a half black guy. We're saying this from a point of, like, people that, we're supposed to feel enlightened by this movie. No, we're comic book fans. We're excited to see these movies because we love comic books. Even if Black Panther is not even in either of our top 10's favorite lists. Like, Dion, would you put Black Panther in your top 10 favorite characters?
If he is, he's literally number 10. I like Black Panther a lot, but I don't read his. I like him because of him being in other stories. I don't read Black Panther comic books. No, like if he's in my top 10, he's literally number 10, and he barely beats out someone else.
Black Panther wouldn't even be in my top 30 favorite superheroes.
Damn.
We're talking because we're doing Marvel and DC.
Oh yeah, if he's your top 30, I'm not even trying to continue a joke. Like literally, if I were to sit down like, hey Jeff, I'm gonna try to name off your top 30, I would literally have Black Panther be the 30th guest. Not even fucking joking.
He might show up there, but like I was saying earlier, there are a lot of X-Men characters that I would rank above Black Panther. I hate to say it, I like Deadpool more than Black Panther at this point.
Oh god, yes. Oh god.
And I mean, we're not even getting into the heavy hitters of Spider-Man and Batman and stuff like that. Characters that I fucking own tons of shit.
Yeah, that we've been watching for like most of our lives. You know.
Well, and to kind of harp on that whole thing, and again, the older I've gotten, I definitely appreciate diversity in terms of making a movie and making characters. I appreciate it, but I say it all the time on this channel. The story matters first, and I had to fucking get on my sister about this a little bit. Listen, I enjoy Black Panther, but for me and Jeff and any comic book fan who cares about comic books, who actually know backstories and ethnicities and experiences of these characters, this, for me, and stop me if I'm wrong, but this isn't a big thing for us because we already had Blade. We already had Spawn come out. We've already had this realization that, okay, comic books are ahead of the curve. We've lived through X-Men in the 90s. We've lived through certain Spider-Man stories that specifically touch on this kind of thing. This, if you're a comic book fan, even if you only watch comic book movies, you've already been there. You've done that. This is
and Dion,
something...
we can even take it further. There's been a black president. We've had black actors win Oscars.
Yes.
And black directors and all. Look, if there's a role in cinema, a black person has filled it. And they've probably done a fine job. Why? Because the color of your skin doesn't determine your success as much as it used to. We're past that point. Yeah, there is latent racism. You'll never get over it fully, depending on the way you're raised or where you live or how you act. And that's fine. But instead of picking on the small minutiae, like, oh, this and that, why not be happy that you live in a world where there's not segregated water fountains and dumb shit. It's like, you gotta nitpick about Black Panther, whoop-de-doo, but Eddie Murphy was doing this shit 30 years ago, and no one, because it's 30 years old, people don't talk about it anymore.
To push it even further, I said this tonight to a guy that I was talking to. A year ago, we had this issue with The Wall, the Matt Damon movie about him and being in China. That was a vast majority a Chinese major motion picture. But there wasn't this big uproar about it. Why? Because it wasn't a goddamn majorly backed film like the Black Panther.
No, and like even that movie, like I think that movie flopped because like nobody really cared about it.
It wasn't interesting. Yeah.
No, it wasn't interesting at all. It was just like, Matt Damon, The Wall, China, watch it. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah, like people, I know people bitched about him being the lead, but again, that was a Hollywood majorly Asian produced film, and there wasn't this fucking huge. Like, I bought a bunch of fucking theaters in California because Asian people need to feel like they can be in this. Like, fucking, come on. No, they didn't. Why? Because, again, we had Blade already to fucking shit on that, like, Wesley Snipes. And I swear to God, I was going to work fucking Monday, and NPR fucking interviewed this guy, who was a quote-unquote comic book fan. Well, and the guy goes, we've had other films. We've had Blade. We've had something. Why is Black Panther a big deal? And the guy, I shit you not, goes, oh, well, those other films, they were banking on the actor more than the character. I was like, motherfucker, that's not a big deal? It's not a big deal.
It's
to
a
bank
bigger
on Wesley
deal
Snipes?
if you think about it.
Yeah, he's like...
That just goes to show you the drawing power of a black dude.
Thank you. It's not a big deal that they harped on Will Smith before Hancock. Like, how is that not a fucking... That's
part of selling a movie, is like getting them these high in demand actors. It's called supply and demand. That's how you do it. That's why Will Smith was like the fucking the summer blockbuster king for so many goddamn years, because
he was the
July 4th movie
actor in Hollywood for like 5 years.
Yeah, I mean,
and now look, it's The Rock, and The Rock is half black, so it's clearly like, and everyone wants to say he's black, he's this, he's that. Doesn't matter. Like,
yeah,
the actor. That's the dumbest excuse I've ever heard. It doesn't. Nobody gives a shit about the character.
Thank you.
Because when Blade came out, we didn't I didn't know who the fuck he was. I just saw Wesley Snipes like vampires and with a really awesome sword. I was like, I want to watch that movie. I like Wesley Snipes.
Even from a comic book fan perspective, and Jeff, if we were to talk on this, you're the host. If we were to talk on something, right? But fucking, I knew of Blade. I read a lot of comic books at that time. It's 1998. I'm just getting in the comic. I knew who he was, but it looked fucking cool. Okay. And he was on the
Spider-Man cartoon. Like, for anyone that wants to say, oh, you didn't know about Blade until the movie, fuck you. I watched Spider-Man. Blade's on multiple episodes. Who hunts down Morbius? Blade. Not fucking Spider-Man. Spider-Man couldn't do shit. Yep. Blade was trying to kill the guy. So I've known Blade for 24 years at this
point. We talked about it on this show where, and you and I talked about it, and I was like, hey, before the fucking movie, he had an afro and a weird tunic and shit. And like he would talk and jive and fuck, like we knew about the
God. I want 70s Blade, man. I want that Blade.
And why wasn't Luke Cage a bigger deal to these same people?
Thank you, Hillary brought this up
last year.
Today. Yeah, that's a great fucking point, man.
Well, now I mean, even now, Black Lightning has started on CW recently.
That looks garbage.
I haven't watched it. I don't know, and nor do I care to watch. Like, it's not my thing. Like, I'll stick to like iZombie and Riverdale. I'll be fine. Don't judge me, goddammit. Don't judge me.
I feel really bad for you.
Mm-hmm. Don't fucking judge me. Yeah, but I mean, like, Black Lightning's a thing. Like, even in the commercials, like, it seems like a very political show. It's just like, oh damn, like, I don't know how long it's gonna last.
I think these DC shows, I mean, I know they have an audience, and if they make money, more power to those people, but to me, they're not worth my time. So I know listeners will ask us questions on it. I wouldn't call any of us here, like, ardent DC fans. Dion and I like the characters and the books.
Yep.
But I'm not going to watch a poorly produced television series that's like 5 minutes of superhero action, and the rest is like a crime drama with really shitty Canadian actors. It's just not my cup of tea.
More like a teeny bopper drama with Canadian actors. Like, we get it. You're in love with this girl. Holy shit, she can't run fast. Just fuck her, dude, and fight the bad guy. Thank you.
Oh god, yeah, because I remember watching like some of the promos for the stuff in between like Supernatural and stuff, and like one of them was like the Flash is in jail. I was like, he sells his powers, so why doesn't he just run out?
Yeah, vibrate through the bars.
Yeah, vibrate through the.
Come on,
bars.
Barry. Come on, Barry. What the fuck?
Come on, Barry. Just think of the girl. Just think of your girl back home and just vibrate through the bars.
Get your shit together, Barry.
Now, here's one final question before I read us one news story and we put this episode to bed.
Okay.
Do you like this film, Black Panther, more than you liked Justice League?
Ooh, fuck.
Ooh.
Because we were really thoroughly... we were surprised with Justice League.
I'm gonna say no. I would rather watch Justice League again.
Oh shit! Wow, when you put it like that,
I'm gonna. Oh fuck, man.
I don't really want to watch either of them again. Honestly, like I'm fine with like one viewing of each, but I would probably I would say Black Panther because it was slower. Justice League was like way too fast. Like there was so much information to absorb, and Black Panther was like it was slower. Yeah, there's a lot of filler and stuff, but it was slower.
God damn. I think. Okay. Initial, just after walking out of Black Panther, I'm going to say I would rather watch. Oh, fuck. Jesus. You know what? I'm going to say I do like Black Panther more. Barely. Because I gave Justice League a 6, I think. No, I gave it a 7. They're both a 7. Shit. Fuck. I'm gonna say Black Panther. The reason I'm gonna say Black Panther is because I do like the character. It was more focused on him, and it wasn't spread out like Justice League was. Plus, I do enjoy the relationship between Black Panther and Apollo Creed Panther at the end more than I enjoyed the Justice League versus Steppenwolf. How about that?
Good answer. I'm torn. I guess I'll go with Black Panther because I like Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman more than I like the Black Panther.
Yes.
I don't know. I would watch them both again. If somebody said, "Hey Jeff, here they are on Blu-ray, watch them," I'd watch them both.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, I'd watch them both too. But if I had to pick one, or like you only get one movie this afternoon and it's 2-hour block, here's your choices. I'll take Justice League.
If somebody were to pose it as you could only watch one movie forever, like one has to disappear, I would pick Justice League. The only reason I say that is I'm a fan of the MCU as a whole. This movie, Black Panther, doesn't really hold any weight in terms of the overarching story.
And Justice League might be the last we see for years.
Yeah,
which is fine because they need to go back to the drawing board anyways.
Yeah. So here's a quick news story that I found really interesting, guys, and I think you will too. So apparently Sony Pictures passed on buying almost every Marvel character for $25 million.
What?
Oops.
In 1998, a young Sony Picture executive named Yar Landau was tasked with securing the theatrical screen rights of Spider-Man. His company had the DVD rights to the web-slinger, but needed the rest in order to make a movie. Marvel Entertainment, then only a famed name in the comic book world, had just begun trying to make film deals. The company was fresh out of bankruptcy and desperate to make cash, so its new chief, Ike Perlmutter, responded with a more audacious offer. Sony, he countered, could have the movie rights to nearly every Marvel character, Iron Man, Thor, Ant-Man, Black Panther, and more, for $25 million. Mr. Landau took the offer back to his bosses at Sony, whose response was quick and decisive. He recalled an interview. Nobody gives a shit about any of those characters. Ooh. Go back and get a deal for Spider-Man only.
Whoopsie.
Dude. Oh
my God. Somebody, if he's not fired now, then he's I don't know, he's dead
so
now,
when
I guess.
Iron Man came out, those dudes they definitely were like, yeah, you fucked up. You fucked up.
25 million? That's nothing.
That's done messed up, Ron.
That's barely a quarter of a goddamn movie gross domestically.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like 25 million for all of them? Shit. Yeah, well, I mean, also imagine Sony's version of all these movies as well.
That's a good
Like,
point. That's a good point.
Yeah, that's
let's
true.
let's be honest about that too, because their superhero movies are very meh.
But to
If
counter that point, imagine 2001 Sony making Iron Man. So you have Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man,
oh
and
yeah, 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 yeah.
that Sony's Iron Man could be different. Different world we're living in at that point.
God, yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there would have been different Iron Man, different Thor, different Captain America. It would have started earlier. Probably would have probably gone on a little earlier. It would probably gone on further as well because yeah,
Yeah.
probably would have gone on further. Definitely would have gone on further.
Oh man,
Jeez.
I do wish though that the Fantastic Four was in the MCU right now because they have a tie-in with the Black Panther,
Yeah.
and the only way I think they could do it is if the Fantastic Four got trapped in like a time warp or something, and they're from the '60s, and they knew King T'Chaka, so maybe that'd be cool, and down the road or something like that. Maybe that's the only way you'll get to see Black Panther again. Fantastic.
Well, yeah,
Four
yeah,
show
yeah.
up.
And you know what? I'd be okay with that, like Phase 5 kind of thing, or Phase 6 or whatever. I'd be okay with that. It's like oh, this is the new Fantastic Four movie or new Black Panther movie, and like he goes and
Yeah, and they
rescues
bring in
them.
Fantastic Four. Yep.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that because I think that would be cool. Like afterwards, if they just kind of went crazy with it and made it awesome, I'd be okay with it.
So, do you guys have anything you want to say about Black Panther before we close this episode out? I mean, I think we all were quite favorable, but I think we were honest more than anything else. I know a lot of channels are going to praise it for being this brave watermark or landmark film. It's groundbreaking. It's doing all these things. It's changing the world of cinema. It's not. It's the same old shit with just a different cast, a black cast. This
Yeah,
time.
I mean, to be honest, don't if you're on the fence of watching the movie, don't believe the hype. Don't believe
Yep.
all this like agenda bullshit. It is a comic book movie through and through. Yes, the character's black. Yes, they're in Africa. Yes, most of the other characters are black. That doesn't mean anything. The story means everything. If you're on the fence about it, don't really watch it if you don't really, want to. It's fine. You're not missing much. If you're interested in the character and want to know more, yeah, then check it out, on an off day and watch it for a discount or just, rent it when it comes out. It's not really like you need to watch it now. So, yeah.
I would say the sister is hilarious. You will enjoy the movie. This is definitely the middle to lower half of the MCU. Again, I will say that Marvel should have waited. I think I will say again that Marvel should have waited for Black Panther to be in the stage 5 of the franchise. I do enjoy the movie. I had a good time. At the same time, we're starting to see the cracks in the armor, so to speak. In this movie, is outside of Infinity War. This isn't the unbreakable franchise that we all thought it was going to be, for sure.
Kendo?
It was a fun watch. I definitely enjoyed it, and yeah, it's worth watching at least once if you're a fan of the comic books, movies, and MCU and stuff. Yeah, go see it. Just like Nick said, unless you're like super hyped because you want it to revolutionize your life, then you should have seen it already.
Yo, what's wrong with you? What did you do yesterday, bro?
Yeah.
This will be my final point. If Marvel movies are like this going forward, I don't think they have a lot longer left in them as a studio because this is fine, but it's not like I honestly left most other Marvel movies. I'll tell you this: I've left every other MCU movie since this podcast has existed pumped about the next one based on the performance of this one. Like I said earlier, I'm only pumped for Infinity War because of everything that came before Black Panther. So please, Disney, Marvel, they obviously don't listen to this, but like, guys, do not fall into this lull of enjoying this press praise and this weekend excitement and fervor for this one movie that people aren't going to go back and see again. This isn't going to be the movie that sweeps the Oscars next year. It's not going to be the film that gets people into the comic book shops buying Black Panther stuff, and it's not going to be the film that starts making Black Panther a mainstream character. He's a good character. He himself is fine. you can put him in tons of stuff. I want to see Chadwick Boseman in 5 or 10 more movies as T'Challa on adventures, but it doesn't have to necessarily be back in Wakanda, because we've basically blown our load with Wakanda.
Oh, yeah.
It was cool. It looked awesome. There's all kinds of great technology there. The only thing I would want to see is Tony Stark there.
Yes.
And to see where he would take it. Like, I really am hoping in Infinity War he goes there and, like, gets ideas. And I bet you, the more I think about it, that he gets ideas from Wakanda and infuses that into his Iron Man armor to defeat Thanos at the end of the movie in part 2. So,
Ooh.
Yeah, you know he's going to be the one to beat it. If it's somebody lame like, what's her face, Nebula from Guardians 2, I will leave the cinemas pissed.
No, they're not that dumb. I think at the worst, at the absolute worst, it's Batista that kills him.
And that would be awesome!
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Batista needs a win, okay? He needs a win, all right? He needs a win.
Especially with the Batista bomb.
If he fucking, like, literally beats Thanos to death, I would just be thoroughly impressed. Thoroughly impressed. All right, well, we've hit our 90 minutes for this week's episode of World Class Bullshitters. So, this episode was mostly recorded on Friday, so we can't say every Thursday night. So we'll just say, this time on Friday night, we take a dump on the world of pop culture. Except we kind of, thought it was all right. But if you like this episode, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it. You know what? Use this episode as the prime example for honest movie reviewing in a weird political climate.
Yeah, because you know that there's going to be the two types of reviews. The ones that praise it and the ones that call it like an SJW cuckfest.
Yeah, you're going to get your people like Grace Randolph and your fags over at Collider. Wow, I never have called them that before, but this is what they are at this point. But those dickheads at Collider are going to... It's so brave. It's groundbreaking. John, I wish the only thing that broke ground was your fucking face. I hate you. You are the worst person to ever report on cinema because you're not honest. Nothing you say is genuine. Nothing that channel says is genuine. It's just a big fucking circle jerk out in Hollywood. And that's the way they like it. But you know what? Your average everyday person doesn't give a fuck about this. It's expensive to go to a movie. So listen to what we had to say and take that into account. You'll have a good time if you loved all the MCU films. You'll really enjoy it. If you're not a comic book movie fan, this isn't going to change your life. And if you're a minority looking to be represented on film, unless you come from a fictional African country whose GDP is in the trillions of dollars, you ain't getting shit out of this fucking movie. So share this video, let everyone know what we thought, let everyone know what you think, let us know what you think, and come back next week for more world-class bullshitters. I've been your host, Jeff Hicks.
I am the man with the plan, the original tan, like the main character, and go Bucks. Oh, fuck.
I've been your friendly neighborhood Simone saying, you don't really have to watch them if you don't want to. It's okay. It's fine.
I've been Kendo Woke Slice. Keep up the fight, brothers.
All right, well, here's that song you all enjoy.